Renderings have long been a staple of interior design, computer-generated images that show a client what their space could look like before ever changing anything in their home. But who creates those renderings, and how do they come to be? Jing Johnson, president of PRISM Renderings, is one person responsible for bringing these renderings to fruition. In this episode, Gail talks with Jing about the important role that renderings play in design businesses and how they benefit designers in multiple ways during a project. If renderings are an aspect of your business or you're looking to start using them, you won't want to skip this episode.
Hi, Jing. So great to see you today. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you about your business, which is 3D renderings. So how did you get into this field?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Gail.
My pleasure.
So I grew up in this industry, believe it or not. My parents are structural engineers in the AE firm, a big AE firm in China. My brother and I grew up there and just watching all the design documents and processes, go to site visit with them sometimes. So when we start to apply for college, both of us get into architecture school. So I got my degrees, master's and a bachelor and master degrees in architecture in both China and in the States, and work in the industry architecture firms for over 10 years before I started the business in 2005. Wow.
So you had to get degrees in both China and the US?
Yes. I worked there after graduate school. I worked in China for a couple of years. I moved here. And the only way at the time was to get another degree in the States to be able to come here and work in the architecture firms here.
Well, I guess you have a lot of great information and knowledge then from all of those years of school.
Yes, but it is a great experience. It really taught me a lot about the industry and the technology and the practice. So I'm grateful for all that experience.
Oh, I'm sure. Is it a lot different in China versus here?
Very different.
What's so different about it?
So in architecture side, we have all the disciplines in one firm. Instead of here, you have architecture firms, engineer firms, and all other consultants. But one was in China at the time, everybody's in the same company, big firm. But for me, it's just much easier to communicate, throughout the process. And so it was very different. So I have to adjust the change when I come here.
My goodness. I was so curious, I had to find out. So has the demand for 3D increased over the period of time that you've been in business? Significantly.
When I started business early 2000s, it was considered a luxury item. You don't have to have renderings for most projects. And but I have seen just a tremendous growth in demand for this service for various reasons. There are technology advancement. We have a much more powerful computer system, hardware and software to produce a really detailed, highly detailed renderings, realistic. Also, half of our clients are real estate professionals, developers and brokers, and they need those images to really convey their vision, either for raise capital or go to get a city approval, or just leasing their buildings.
So that's your specialty, is real estate?
Commercial. Our specialties are pretty much in commercial real estate and high-end residential sectors.
Okay, great. Well, it's good to know that because we have a lot of residential designers that are listening to this podcast. So that will be great.
We'll be happy to help them.
When a client comes to you that hasn't used renderings, what do they need to know to be a good client?
Well, we have a lot of repeat clients, being in business for 18 years. From time to time, we work with new clients and who have never do business with the rendering companies before. So either way, for us, a good client is someone has a really clear vision about their project and also respect and trust our process and our expertise. We trying to make the whole process seamless and smooth for all our clients.
What is your process?
Well, I think the most important first step is to really have the conversation, to have a deep understanding about their projects and their vision, what they're trying to highlight, what they're trying to showcase in terms of their business objectives, right? It could be building capital campaign, or it could be just go to the city, get the zoning approval. So it really depends on the purpose of the renderings. We try to have that conversation and have a really good understanding of their objectives. And based on that, we usually provide 3 options for our clients to select, that best fit for their purpose and budget. Once the proposal gets approval, then we require certain design documents. Sometimes our clients will provide Revit model, sometimes it's SketchUp model, or just AutoCAD drawings. And also, of course, materials and finishes, those type of information. Once we gather those information, we just start to create some low resolution images for them to look at the views and building details and interior finishes for a few rounds of changes before we go to the high resolution, really bring the life to the renderings.
What is the length of time? Say it's a simple project, and maybe it's a residential project, and you're doing maybe 3 or 4 rooms of the interior. How long would that be to get those renderings?
Typically 2 to 3 weeks for just steel renderings. We also produce walkthroughs and animations or fly-throughs. Those take a little longer, usually 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
How about budgeting? How do you budget for a project?
It can be such a wide range pricing wise. We usually provide our clients a standard pricing sheet so they can see that different renderings, the cost of a different type of renderings. So when they present clients proposals and they're trying to incorporate our fees into their proposals, they have a basic understanding of the overall cost. Once they do move forward on the rendering side, we will sit down, really figure out the detailed scope, and then based on that scope, we will provide accurate pricing information.
Do designers or architects, do they typically mark up your rendering cost?
I would say small percentage. Designers and architects and charge their hours. So when they help to provide comments during the process, half of our clients are professionals in the real estate industry. So they are developers or brokers, and we work with them directly. And the other half are designer and architecture firms. The best part for them is usually clients pay for those renderings. And at the end of the day, they will get those professional level of quality, level of renderings for their own marketing purpose. So that's the silver lining of that.
Okay. What are some of the limitations of renderings?
Well, I think renderings for design and designers and architecture firms, I think the biggest limitation is the investment, the time, and the cost. And it could be a pretty significant especially for small, medium-sized firms. I think that's probably the most challenging for these designers.
Okay. Well, and it is fairly new in the last 10 years or so that people have started doing quite a bit more of using renderings and visualizations.
Right.
Do you use AI in your work?
We do. We have started to experiment it since last year. I think most of the design firms start to tap into this resource, especially for the early stage project. It helps you to just really enhance the quality within a less time. We haven't used it heavily on our deliverables, but just help a little bit to enhance the quality.
The purpose of renderings is beyond just providing a visualization. In some cases, it's building a financial case, or it's helping someone build a financial case for what they're doing. So would you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I always like to say that renderings are beyond pretty pictures. That's what most people are thinking about the renderings. For me, especially as a business owner, I always like to look at it as a business from business perspective. So our clients would use renderings to either raise funds for their projects and to really expedite that process. For example, one of our clients have this site. Within 90 days, they put the contract on the property and they want to close it in 90 days. But within 90 days, they need to raise significant amount of funds to be able to close the property. So in that case, we were able to produce some concept design and the renderings within 3 weeks. It gave them a lot more time to achieve their business objective. So this is I always look at the rendering as a really valuable tool for a lot of professionals in real estate industry, but for designers and architects, I would think it will save them the cost, and also increase the client's satisfaction. We have a few clients that will come to us to just ask us to help their architects to produce some high quality renderings so they can use it for their business objectives. Yeah.
Well, and it helps to get the client's buy-in when they can see what the interior is going to look like. And if somebody's designing a custom piece and it's never been made before, at least you can include it in the rendering so they can see what it would look like finished.
Yeah, it's definitely really enhanced the design process, and they can really clients can clearly understanding the space and the material and combination, and to help them make decision quicker.
Well, making them quicker is a big plus.
Yeah, it benefits the designer and architects, right? The quicker you can finish the project, the quicker you can get to the next one.
Exactly. And once you get that decision made, you don't have to go back and reprice things if they can make a decision more quickly using a rendering. So it's a tremendous sales tool. Is there anything else you'd like to share about renderings?
I just really, I'm a firm believer. I'm passionate about this business. It's just because I can see how much it helps, our clients. So for me, I think architects and designers are facing, even more challenges now, right? You work with designers and architects every day. They just have clients have higher and higher expectations, but give us less than time and money to do it. So it is more difficult to do that. But the good thing is a lot of resources out there, like your business coaching, renderings, and other consultants available for designers and architects to tap in at their tips. So I would encourage everybody just look at their business. It's a business decision. Just look at their business and what is the best way to leverage the external resources to help you have that long-term success. And that's it.
I love that. Well, why don't we end with 3 takeaways you'd like our listeners to glean from today's conversation?
3 takeaways is just for architects and designers to look at the rendering resources, to look at the cost saving, and you can access the expertise of people who have done this every day, have a great process and a faster turnaround time, and just leverage the external resources as much as you can, whether it's a business coaching or accounting or rendering services, and just best use those resources to help you success.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was great chatting with you, and thank you for sharing your expertise. And we'll include in the show notes information about your firm. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you, Gail, for having me.
Thank you, Jing, for joining Gail on the podcast and sharing with us the power of renderings. If you want to learn more about what PRISM Renderings has to offer, check our show notes for a link or look them up online. Our 2024 Interior Design Industry Survey is available to take now. Lend your voice to this survey and secure your free copy when the results become available. To take the survey, visit theprocollective.com/takethesurvey. To learn more about Pro Collective and what we do for the interior design industry, you can visit theprocollective.com.